So here I am at the race. I get a really shitty start. My clutch on this KTM is a little worn out, so it needs to be replaced. But either way, I think I started and got dead last, at least next to last, because there was a guy on an XR650 that didn't finish. Me getting stuck in a group of people. This corner, he did like the hairpin and came back around, and the conditions were really good, but it was weird because it had rained. It was like 40 degrees, and it had rained all the way up to the point where the A class started. The pros just started, so it shut everything down, made it a little slick. It was nice. I was getting around a couple guys. I ran Sportsman, and that's the last row of the morning race. So it starts at noon, and we're the last row to run. And it's full of people that are either just not serious about it, or it's people like me who I just want to see what my times would be and how gassed out I got after doing a 2-hour race. So the course was really nice. The stuff I ride for fun is harder than this whole course. And me sliding around that guy, he actually let me pass. The course was really good. It was a lot of elevation change. It was just in the area where I live, about an hour from me. And it was like pine forest, and then through in a creek bed and around. And I think the total mileage is like 6.5 miles of course. And in a long downhill section, and it came into this creek right here, and I got behind these two guys. This is the first lap, so I didn't know what to expect going into it because I hadn't seen any of this going in. And me getting behind this guy, I don't know who that is. I don't know anybody out there riding it. I mean, nobody was doing very well through here in my group. And so he stops a little short to hit those rocks, and I stall. And he gets started again. Luckily, this bike starts really easy, and like I said, most of the places I ride are rocks like this, so I'm not super worried about it. Later on, I got better and got more consistent. And you can see in some of these turns, there's a lot of what looks like where it would have been dusty. And as the course progressed, it got drier and drier, and it became... It never got dusty, because about 3 laps in it started to rain again, and it kept the dust down, which was really nice, because it hadn't rained in like 3 weeks, which would have been terrible, and I hate riding in really thick dust where you're coughing up black shit for weeks after a ride. Before I'd crashed a little bit, this guy got ahead of me, and he let me pass there, because I was on his tail a little bit. And riding through some of these sections, you get into little areas of pine forest, and there were a lot of roots, but they weren't real pronounced, so it was like as the course got beat in a little more, the roots would pop up, and it's just a little faster section. The thing I realize about racing is that I get into if I don't have anybody to chase, so there's nobody in front of me that's way faster that I can see, then I kind of just back off. Later on, that log gave me a bunch of trouble. I flipped over and did a front flip, and my bike almost landed on me after hitting that log. But the thing I realize is I get into the race, and it's great while I've got in a pack of people because I'm trying to get away, and I'm trying to get to the front, or trying to get to somewhere reasonable. But then once I'm away, and like for a lot of the race, I was actually just kind of alone, like there wasn't anybody around me, and I get stuck in my own world. Later on, this section was really good because it's a long, it doesn't show it on the GoPro, and GoPro never shows a good elevation change, but there's a long downhill into this reasonably steep uphill, and we just hit it wide open. You just fly down the one side, bottom out, and come up the other side, and you kind of float up the other side. And there's more elevation change stuff, and we should ride up these good little sections of hills. The other thing I realized, like I've always talked about, is that I don't stand up enough. And so, like, immediately after the race, my back just killing me. I just feel more confident sitting down. That's why I generally do it, but I got to get out of that habit. Before, like I was saying, the thing where if I don't have anybody in front of me to chase, or somebody behind me chasing me that I'm trying to get away from, I settle into this pace it's not a bad pace. Like, it's not slow, but it's not super fast either. So I get into this position where I'm like just riding a comfortable pace for me. And talking to some other people, they all said that's something you just gotta learn to break. Like, I guess what I'm gonna have to do is like make myself freak out like somebody's chasing me, like I do, and just ride as hard as I can. Which I did 5 laps of this, and it's like, well, I guess it comes up to like 30 miles, and pretty well beat by the end of it. Not the most tired I've ever been, and I think a couple more races into it, I'll be able to do the whole race and not really feel terrible afterwards. But this being my first 2-hour race, by the end of it, I was pretty gassed. Another little uphill section. This is just shows a good layout of the course, like how much elevation change there was. There's a longer downhill. There was a lot of little worky sections where you come into like not a vertical wall, but it'd be like this real steep hump, and like this turn was, as much as it had rained, that turn was sand the whole time, and it got deeper and deeper and deeper. And I'm glad I didn't run the second afternoon race, because the pro guys beat this track to pieces. By the end of it, there were so many ruts and bumps and just hard lines that I imagine the afternoon race was rough. It had to be. And with how cold it was in the 40s and raining constantly, it couldn't have been that much fun. Even though it would have been fun anyways, because the course was just so well laid out. I see a lot of places where I can, after watching all the footage from the race, I see a lot of places where I could have made up time. It's places where I should have been harder on the throttle, or places where I could have been a little smoother. And I guess that's what's good. Another thing about always having the camera on me is that I can go back and watch all this stuff. Because like you've seen, I edited this together to make it a little more interesting, so there weren't many sections of nothing going on. Like, we try to get the hill climbs and get the sections where there's actually something happening. But you can tell, like for the majority of it, I was just alone. There weren't many people around. And it made it so it was a little more difficult to keep a good pace. Little corner there, drop into this little piece of netting. Apparently we were running the course backwards from the real course, and like this hill gave people a lot of trouble in the original layout of the course, going the other direction you go up it. Another lap out here, and I crashed real big right there, just trying to get on the gas real hard and flat track my way around those corners, and I like slid out, twisted my bark buster up, and had to have the guy at the checkpoint smash my bark buster back down. This section was fun because it was the rolling drop-offs, and there's a little jump right here. And I had Diane and the baby were out there. It was a lot of fun having somebody support you that wants to come out and watch. She hung out with Keith's girlfriend and another friend of mine that showed up. And you can see how it never got real snotty, but it just started getting real slick. And I think this was all second lap, which was my fastest out of all my laps. I did okay, ended up 6th in my group out of 15, which is pretty good. And the top guys seemed like, I think they were all A riders that were in that top group, because I know the top 3 were. So excluding them, I did okay. Alright, that's gonna be it. And you guys get you to like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. And let's see you next time. Peace.